Mitt Romney, ironically enough today, lambasted Donald Trump's foreign policy, and Trump responded by promising a stronger military at an event today. Take a listen to this.
Now, Donald Trump tells us that he is very, very smart. I'm afraid that when it comes to foreign policy, he is very, very not smart.
So we're going to make our country so strong. We're going to make it strong militarily, very, very strong. You know, our military is very depleted.
This is more than 70 foreign policy veterans written a letter pledging that they would oppose Donald Trump, saying that his proposals would actually undermine U.S. security. So how accurate are those attacks? And if not Trump, who would be the best commander-in-chief? Joining me now, Carl Higbie, Cathy Taylor, both from CPAC, Christian Whiton and Richard Grenell. Carl Higbie, let me go to you first. You know, obviously a precarious situation here. We know that North Korea's leader is a loose cannon. Nevertheless, we can't underestimate what he may do at some point here.
Right, and this is indicative of a leader who's had absolutely no foreign policy as Barack Obama has, and now he's trying to govern a world and he's just let things slip. We need a definitive leader like Donald Trump who will come in there and say, if you launch a missile that's capable of reaching the United States, we will take military action against you and eliminate all of your installations.
But Carl, should we allow them to even build this stuff? Every like 6 months or so, they test missiles, and first they couldn't reach, they reached Japan, right. Now they can reach Hawaii, soon they'll reach California. Do we do anything preemptively, or do we allow them to continue this and knowing that this madman may use these one day?
Well, Charles, we all know that Barack Obama is not going to take any military action against anybody. I mean, he pulled all of our troops prematurely out of Iraq, and we knew that that was going to be a disaster. It still happened. He's not going to do anything. Our last best hope is to get Donald Trump in office so we can take some serious military action against these guys.
Cathy Taylor, how do you see it?
Well, I think this is what the national security experts who sent out this letter nationally today were trying to convey. Look, foreign policy is like a game of pickup sticks. The relationships are built over decades, if not hundreds of years. And if just one is disrupted the littlest bit, everything can fall down. It's very nuanced. It's very delicate. And I think when Trump makes misstatements, this is what people get concerned about. The trade surplus in order to pay for a wall with Mexico is exactly a great example. You know, trade surplus is the balance of goods between our country and theirs. It's not a pot of money at the end of the rainbow with Trump the leprechaun handing it out. So this is what concerns people a little bit right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about that. The trade side, we'll talk about that later. But what I want to ask you, Christian, is, you know, we haven't really vetted any of these guys, I don't think, enough with respect to foreign policy. You know, we hear occasionally bomb this, carpet bomb that, you know, rebuild the military. These aren't necessarily concrete policies. And it's obvious that the world is going to only get more dangerous from here.
Yep, there is that factor. And, you know, I support Ted Cruz, not Donald Trump, but I was one of the very few people in this country to bother reading that letter this morning. These are, you know, 70-odd professionals, many of whom are responsible for some of the worst decisions in the Bush administration. And what didn't you see in that letter? You didn't see a solution for North Korea. You didn't see a solution for fighting or destroying ISIS or for ablating and preventing some of the other threats. What you just saw is a collection of largely politically tone-deaf and talentless people who would make a pretty good do-not-hire list for a future Republican administration. What Trump has done that is good, I think, is to demonstrate a cautionary principle, desire not to send the military first. I mean, with North Korea, and I think this, of course, is being embodied by Ted Cruz, in particular, a desire to destroy ISIS, but not to start trying to manage the outcome of the Syrian civil war, which is the impossible
so in other words,
and if you look at North Korea, the answer there is to undermine the regime peacefully, political warfare, economic warfare, as others have said, to call out the Chinese on their support for North Korea, not the type of military first solution that this collection of neocons wants.
All right, well, I'll ask you then, Richard, because I think we've tried that. I think the world has sort of tried to starve out, if you will, North Korea, and the only thing that's happened is a certain amount of people have starved and the elites haven't, and we always see that in these sort of totalitarian, socialist kind of environments. Do you think that's the only viable option, or is there some way to coordinate with China, a way to sort of to defang these guys, because he's going to become more dangerous?
Look, we've been trying to coordinate with China for quite a long time, and they just don't listen. That's not their priority. Look, I have to defer to Christian Whiton on this. Christian is an expert when it comes to North Korea. What he is saying is we have to undermine the regime. We have to figure out how we can work with South Korea and some of our allies to bring down this regime from the inside or from an informational war, that it's not just going to happen because we're putting all of our eggs into the China basket, waiting for China to carry our U.S. foreign policy. It's just not going to happen. We've tried it in multiple administrations.
We found out this week the UN is going to stop sending more luxury goods, so we'll see if they stop the cognac and Rolexes, if that'll work. All right, guys, thanks a lot.